cusp of finishing up my last reread TBR. I really just need to finish up the Harry Potter series, and since I like to take a break between each HP book so that I can fully let each soak into my consciousness, I need another reread TBR to fill in those blank spaces. So here are some of my favorite books that I feel I'm highly overdue for a reread. First off, you've been hearing me talk about this book a lot lately because, well, I loved it, and I'm in desperate need of a reread, and that is Graceling by Kristen Cashore. This is one of my favorite YA fantasies with an amazing heroine and a little bit of an unorthodox ending. This is a world where some people are born with special gifts. Kat's ability is killing, and so guess what? She's pressed into service as an assassin for the king. I assure you, not the same plot as Throne of Glass, very different, and plus, this one came first. I'm both excited and scared to see if I love this book as much as I remember that I love it. Okay, so this next book is set in the year and month of my birth, so it has always held a special place in my heart. That is 1984 by George Orwell. I was surprised when I read it how much I loved it. This was not a given. I can go either way on the classic dystopian genre. I'm actually not a big fan of A Brave New World. I thought the story itself was weak on that one, but I found 1984 incredibly well written and compelling and just really quotable. It's been, 8 or 9 years since I read this, so I need to go back, reread, and reevaluate. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This book blew me away when I first read it. It just wrapped itself around me and made me love it, and I still don't fully know why. It just seemed so magical to me the first time around. Margaret is a biographer who is going to write about the life of reclusive author Vida Winter, who is famous for her collection of 12 stories. Vida has never been quite truthful about her own real life backstory until now. This is a lyrical gothic fantasy whose mood in some ways reminds me of The Night Circus. So if you liked The Night Circus, maybe pick this one up and we can read it together. Father Brown by G.K. Chesterton, who was one of C.S. Lewis's best friends, and this series is one of my favorite classic British mystery series. Our detective is a little quite unassuming Catholic priest who uses intuition and his insights into human evil to solve crimes. I'm just a fan of any detective story whose detective is not what you would expect, kinda like Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, and Father Brown is one of the better done series of this genre. This is really a series of short stories wrapped up into larger collections, so I will just mosey my way through these at my own pace. The Blue Castle by Ella Montgomery. Yes, she of the Anne of Green Gables fame did write a few books that were not Anne themed. This is one of those books. Think Anne of Green Gables meets Walden's Pond. I know that's kind of a weird comparison, but once you read the book, you'll see what I mean. This was published in 1926, but I think it's set in 1921-ish. Our main character, Valency, is diagnosed with a terminal illness. Wanting to live life while she can, she rebels against her overbearing family and essentially convinces this reclusive guy living on this really cool Canadian island to marry her. The mood in this, the setting of nature, the really wonderfully adorable story, all work together for me to make this one of my favorite books. Now I need to reread it to assure myself that I still love it just as much. Alright, I also want to revisit a romance trilogy I really enjoyed the first time I read it, which is Three Sisters Island by Nora Roberts. It's about, you guessed it, three sisters. Actually, maybe, no, I'm actually not sure about that. I can't remember. I don't think they're actually sisters, but they're descended from three witches who settled the islands who were called the Three Sisters. I don't actually remember. Anyone else remember? But I do remember really liking the characters and the stories and the island, so I'm obviously way overdue on a reread for this one here. Watership Down by Richard Adams. I read this in school and frankly don't remember anything about it, which is why I'm rereading it now. I can't remember particularly loving it, but I don't remember hating it either. I just vaguely have a mental image of a rabbit in a field, and that's pretty much it. For those of you who live outside of the US, do they make you read this book in school? I'm not sure why it's so integral to the US school system. Hey, it's about cute animals, guys! Kids will dig this shit and we can pretend it's all allegorical and stuff, who knows? Okay guys, what of these books have you read? Which ones do you love or hate? And what books did you read in school that you still cannot figure out why they make school kids read it?